marvel of things, isn't it? A gate hanging right that can make your day. Hello and welcome to Sullivan's Farm. I think they say is that in politics nothing happens for years and then years happen in a week, and we had something of a week like that here this week. There was kind of nothing happening there for the last few weeks because we were dependent on the weather and a few other bits and pieces, and then all of a sudden there was several jobs sorted out this week. The first, I don't know, was it Monday evening, was where we got the man to spray off the new reseed. So take a little while, but I'm happy that we're going to get a good kill on the docks and the few thistles that were coming through here and there. And I'm going to leave it 14 days and then the calves can come up here and tear into it. Probably the most relieving job that was done was to get this cut at long last. We've been waiting several weeks for the weather to come right to get it done, and thankfully it's done now. So we'll get it baled hopefully before the end of this video and wrapped, and then thankfully we'll be finished with the silage for the year until we start feeding it out, and then we're counting down the days till it's all gone again. But sure, look, that's the nature of it, I suppose. And it's drying out well, thankfully, as well. Still a little bit damp, but overall I'm delighted. It's kind of been weighing on me for the last few weeks there, but I'm absolutely delighted now to be at this stage. These are the other few paddocks we cut as well there the other evening, so I'll have a check on these. It's not as heavy, so I'm guessing probably drier underneath, or yeah, fully dry. Yeah, grass, little bit wet, but again, I'm happy that it's cut and it'll be cleaned off, and we'll have grass coming back on it in a couple of weeks' time as well. And it's beside the one where I was topping in the last video, so the grass is coming back there too. This is the one that might have been cut for silage, but I grazed it with the bigger cattle instead, so grass is coming back nicely. And that was another job that was done during the week, was to spread a bit of fertiliser here and there. I checked what I'd spread before and looked at the field and see how much grass was growing, and tried to kind of figure out as best I can whether to throw out a bit of urea or a bit of 18-6-12 on it. In a couple of weeks' time there'll be a nice bit of grass coming back every place, and we'll start building the bank of grass for autumn. Is that what they call it? I did another bit of topping there during the week as well, and it was the field where all those docks were down, I call it below the wood, but if anybody was ever passing or coming to the farm, I'd say it's the one beside me mother's house there at the road. We'll see how it goes. It was kind of done in the wet, but I think we're making headway on the docks down there anyway. It's raining again, but we're still going to try and sort out some of the docks here. We'll see how we get on. This is the field I showed you before, where the multi-species sward was set a couple of years ago, but ducks took it over. So it's an improvement anyway, and it's probably just the first step in trying to take the field back from the docks. But overall, I'm happy enough. Field it's actually wet as well after all the rain. I didn't realise how wet it was, so there was a bit of slipping and sliding around at times too. But I haven't done any topping in 25 years. I was only saying on Twitter there last week, I think the last time I did a bit of topping was with a David Brown 996, and I don't even remember the make. It was a 4-disc mower anyway. So I'll get back into it alright. It does a nice job. I need to lower it a little bit. We're not going to go for the skin fade like the youngsters and the haircuts now, but we probably need to go from a 4-blade down to maybe a 3-blade or a 2-blade, and we'll be flying then. These are the heifers I showed you previously, the 2-year-old heifers that I'm feeding and will send to the mart in a couple of weeks' time. It's hard to tell. You don't want to put your hand on them again, I suppose, like we did in the yard that day. to see if there's much of an improvement in the flesh cover, based on they're getting about 3 kilos a day each. There's the little Jersey one I was saying might go over fat, but she's certainly not skinny anyway. Fine big back on her. Sure, look, she wouldn't be the type of cow I'd milk around here, but if that was your thing, she'd probably do a job for you. So if anybody wants to buy her, or put a straw into her, maybe have her as an autumn calf, an animal or something like that, give us a shout. And this one too, she is actually a nice cow. We'll do a bit of a Dundee ad on the video. She'd be a lovely cow for somebody. She's apparently a Friesian cross as well, but you wouldn't really say it. She's a bit small maybe, but she's a decent enough animal too. So yeah, I'm open to offers if anybody wants to come for a look, or there's 2 of them there. I wouldn't sell you this one. You could try as you might, but you'd have some job to get her in calf. Sure, look, didn't her fault she's a half a tween. I was watching the market there earlier in the week online at some stage as well, just to try and get some sense of how prices are going, and they're not great. So it is all the more important. Like these ones, I suppose they'll just about pay for themselves, no more than that. I don't know what this one is going to do. In fairness, the couple of cubes seems to have made a little bit of a difference. She's not as runty as she was, but she's still going to be around for a while before she'll pay for herself as well. But again, I suppose it just kind of reaffirms for me the fact that you have to buy them right in the first place. She was the one that I bought at the market for €50 last year. And obviously it was the most expensive €50 I ever spent. But what's a bit of better news is that the 5 Friesian heifers I picked out as just being a little bit small, or needing a little bit of space themselves, are doing well. I'm happy enough with them. They're getting just over a kilo of cubes a day, so nothing special, but they just have the time and space to eat it themselves, and they're not trying to push big Angus bull calves out of the way to get at them. Hello, missus. Don't. That's an expensive camera. You might be a more expensive calf, but that's neither here nor there. So they're doing well. Happy with them, and happy that I intervened, gave them a bit of extra space, left them out on their own, and hopefully there'll be no question of them not being big enough to go to the bull next year and ending up as fattening animals like the ones on this side of the roadway. But yeah, look, if anybody's interested, give me a shout. You can come and have a look at them. They might do a job for somebody. Another job done this week was the slides on the topper. What do we see now? We'll get this right. The slides went down, slides went up, and the blades went down. So we moved from the holes there, show them on the side, down a bit. So just down a hole. Not a huge amount, but hopefully enough to make a difference. And again, it just kind of shows how lucky you are when you have reliable people to help you out when need be. And thanks again to David Mears for doing that job during the week. It wasn't straightforward. As we agreed, nothing is ever straightforward. Another little job is this pain in the butt cheeks thing. I took a slice off the back of that gate because it wouldn't fit in that old hook, and it's fitting in now, but this bit down here is not fitting in, so I think I'll have to take a slice of that as well to make it fit. Then we'll get the sledge out after that if need be. Now, there was no need for the angle grinder or the sledge. I found a different tool to make it fit. This little hammer and this little chisel here. I think they were a project herself was going carving out names or something like that in stone at some stage, or maybe she was going into the headstone business, I don't know. She's a great woman for ideas like that. But I'm glad because I didn't have to get the angle grinder out again. I'm not mad about using it. I'm not very good with it, and I'm always a bit wary around it, so there wasn't much in it. It was very, very little it took, and I managed to just carve out a little channel, and it's still deep enough there, so I'm not too concerned about it popping out anytime soon. And it is the most simple of things, isn't it? A gate hanging right that can make your day. And it just comes in then. It's just for when you're putting cattle or calves or whatever into the crush. You just kind of close it in behind them like that as they're walking in. It is the easiest thing in the world to do. And up they go. I'd say of about, I don't know how many gates are hanging here in the place. Maybe half of them are hanging right, and the other half then are kind of hanging right and kind of with bits of twines and they have to be lifted. But everyone you'd hang right then, I guess you'd be taking it as a bit of progress and one less thing to not go right and not be lifting and not be messing with. So as you can see, we got the silage baled and wrapped and thrown it in at the moment now. It was heavy enough. There were, I think, 12 bales to the acre on some of the paddocks, maybe 8 or 9 on some of the others. But it's done, and it's a relief, and it's a kind of a feeling like we're almost turning in the year. Silage is done, the grass is sprayed over there, a few little jobs done. More to be done yet, and we won't mention autumn or winter, but it's a kind of a midpoint in the year all the same. So look, thanks a million for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Good luck.